Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and I have some stuff to share with you guys. Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff. So first off, I am really super excited about this. Mostly because it's teal, but also because this is the latest and greatest from Glassboard Studio, and I want to open it in front of you all for the first time and share it with you. Big thank you to Glassboard Studio for sending me these brand new products. Check it out. Oh my gosh, I am really, when I first learned about this and there was a sneaky peek of it, and as well, we were given some information about it. Look, it's magnetic. It's so great. So this is so cool. It's actually a little bit like a diamond dot sorter, like those drills. You can kind of shake a little bit and have things kind of fall into place. Not only do I want to tell you more about these products, but I've got an update for you about TapeRunner, product I've been trying out lately, and I want to share with you some new releases of easy postage printables. So many things, and plus I got a little crafty item. Now these are large sequins, but you can still they're not going to really fall into these columns here, but it is still nice that it's ridged a little bit, and that just helps to kind of spread them out. It makes it so that they don't all like automatically go like that. So you can easily kind of give a little shake and then it'll sort of spread out a little bit. So that is kind of nice, and it's really wonderful because if you have a glassboard craft mat, that this is a pretty slick surface. So it is kind of nice that it's magnetic so that this will stay still on you, and then you won't, I think you're less likely to have a spill, because a plastic little tray like this, it's so easy to get like knocked around a little bit and maybe tip over and spill. So that's kind of nice. So I love that. This might be good for little die cuts too, not just embellishments, but the little funnel to easily pour it back in is awesome. And you get 2 in a pack, it seems. So I think that's pretty cool. Now, let me show you this. Check it out. So these are pretty similar. These are really neat. I don't have a super great way of showing this, mostly because the way my camera is set, I can't easily show you the edge of my mat, but okay, let me grab this, because maybe this will sort of help to demonstrate. So I do have this mat, and the idea, and if you have this style of mat also, then this will kind of show you that it'll work for that as well. But the idea behind these are that you put them, oh my gosh, it does work perfect. You put them off to the side of your glassboard mat, or guess what? It'll work on a Tim Holtz Tonic Studio mat too. So you just put it off to the side here, and then if, let's say, you had this situation, right? Let's say you prefer to actually just dump that right onto your glass mat. With this to the side here, you can just go like that. And easy cleanup. And there's 3 different sizes. That's pretty cool. Now, if you did that, there isn't a pour spout, so just keep that in mind. But it does have the same little ridges here, So that makes it so that it's easy. Like I said, you give it a little bit of a shake and it makes it so that you can just, spread things out a little bit. And I love that. I think that's a really nice feature. And it's built into these trays as well. So now there wasn't a pour spout, but I got just about everything in one shot. So I think that's really cool. There's I think silicone feet at the bottom here. So if you actually do have like multiple glassboard mats, like let's say you have one of the smaller glassboard mats, if you wanted, I mean, it works so great to just like have this. It's so flush and perfect. I cannot believe it works with the Tim Holtz mat too, the Tonic Studios one. I mean, that is incredible. So if you like working with like a mat on top of a mat, I mean, that's kind of nice. I have been using I'll actually show you. I use this at the side of my desk. It just has some hodgepodgey things in it, but it's gonna be nice to be able to put one of these trays next to my mat instead and just have it nice and flush. And then that way, if I need to just do a little bit of a sweep, especially for live streams, it's kind of nice to just be able to quickly clean off the desk, even if it's like temporarily cleaning it. And I like to have like things that I might use on the regular, like little blending brushes, for example. Those are always really nice to have at hand. And so, like maybe this one I'll load up on my blocks, my acrylic blocks, and my washi can go there. So it just helps to sort of tidy everything, keep everything nice and neat and organized. Man, I really like it a lot. So I've got mine right off to the side, but it'll work just like this, and it's nice and flush. So perfect. That's pretty incredible. I really love that. So I'm glad I had this small one so that I can actually demonstrate to you not only like how it's meant to work with your Glassboard studio mat, but the fact that, even if you don't, like, let's say you have a glass mat from another brand, it seems like it's going to be fairly compatible. So let me measure these just in case anybody wants to know. So the largest one is 7 7/8 at the top, but it's a little bit more narrow at the bottom. So at the bottom it is 7 3/8 at the bottom, and medium is 6 inches. At the top it is about 6.5. The small one is 4 inches at the bottom and 4 3/8 at the top. So those are really lovely, great sizes, and I love these. So cool. These I think are super awesome. These are 3 inches. You know what these are really gonna be super good for? 3 by about 4 1/4. Oh my gosh, you know what this is gonna be really good for? This is how I'm gonna use these. Yes! So because it's got a magnet, okay, there are some dies that I leave on in my area all the time. My 2 dies that are part of the Easy Wonder add-on, I think for die number 1 maybe, but these are the banner dies, and I use them all the time. I craft with Meg's Gnomes a lot, so I like having that die at hand. So if you don't know this story, I found this die in my all-in-one tool, and I don't know what set it belongs to. Oh, hey, friends, if you know what Spellbinder set this die belongs to, leave me a comment. I'm still trying to figure out what die it belongs to, but I love that this is magnetic, so I can actually just put the dies that I regularly use, and look, I don't have to worry about losing it. This is how I'm going to be using these. The embellishments are really cool. That's a really nice option for it, but I kind of feel like this is major for me. I love that. Okay, so that was the first thing I wanted to share. So these are now available at the Glassboard Studio, on the Glassboard Studio website. So if you want to check them out, then definitely expand the description box below. I'll try to also leave it as a pinned comment on this video too. And you use my code for a discount. My coupon code is just LB. You can use it all the time, all year long. It's always available for you at 15% off. At the time that I'm recording this, I can't remember if they are going to increase it to 20% for this launch, but regardless, it's always available for you to use. So you're gonna either get 15% off or possibly more. So do check it out, and these new releases are available in all the colors. Not too surprising to you that I chose teal, I'm sure. So I really love all of my teal accessories for my Glassboard craft mat. It's really super amazing. And again, a big thank you to Glassboard Studio for sending me these products and being such an amazing supporter of us creators. They are always very generous to us, and often support a lot of things like my paper escape retreat, my hop that was just a day ago. So you haven't checked that out, definitely hop along, and you might be in for a chance to win a prize from Glassboard Studio. So big thank you. So that's the first bit of news. I'm going to clear all of this off, and I'm going to continue sharing with you some awesome news. Okay, my next bit of awesome news is I've been using the TapeRunner dry adhesive tape for a while now, and I absolutely love it. In fact, I was crafting with it for a video, and I just made like just a little bit of accidental contact between two pieces of cardstock, and it stuck so quickly and firmly that I really was worried that I would tear the cardstock if I really tried to pull it apart. So I ended up just going with it. I can't remember which video it was now, but luckily it wasn't too bad, and I didn't I didn't have to start it over. But it's pretty darn strong, and I haven't done like a scientific test or anything. I've just been using these just as I would any tape runner in my crafting. And since, let's see, I put out a video on October 4th, but I filmed that video I think a day before then or something like that. And so since then I've been using TapeRunner as my exclusive tape runner, and I've gone through one of these. I'm probably very far into this one, and then this is the baby one. I haven't actually, I don't think I've used this one at all yet. And so far I'm loving it. I really like it. Actually, I have to say I'm really surprised by how much I like this. It's such a different form factor. It's retractable. And so let me show you. So normally with one of these tape runners, I go like this, but I found with this, I feel like holding it like this is more comfortable for me. Yeah, and it's a pretty comfortable like glide motion. So I really like it. And the other thing that I noticed was that if you go to the TapeRunner website, this one actually has refills. So all of them you can open up, and it looks like all of them are capable of being refilled, but I don't see on the website that the actual refills are available, at least not directly. But see how you can take that out? And so if you really needed to do something, to maybe something got caught up in there or something, you have access to it. You can open all of these up. But this one you can actually buy either like this, like a 5-pack. I think it might have a 20-pack even, but there's a pack of only like just refills. And so if you go with that option, you just need to press these two. Make sure it's out, and then press these in, and then you'll have access to this, and then you can slide this right out, and you can buy a set of just the cartridge. And if you already have a runner, then you can just refill these as needed, and then pop this back in. And there's even, if you don't have any of these, there's a bundle where you get 2 runners and 8 refill cartridges. So it's pretty cool. Now, here's the bit of good news though. So I really love using this brand. I feel like the quality is top notch. I haven't done like a really scientific head-to-head test of how strong the adhesive is, but just that one time where like I made some accidental contact and it really felt like I was gonna tear the cardstock if I really tried to pull them apart. The only other time, the only other adhesive where that's happened is the score tape, the Sukwang score tape, and that is really, really strong stuff. And I'm gonna probably do a little bit more testing just to check and double check, but I feel like just using this in my regular crafting and having had that experience where I tried to pull it apart and it really felt like I would tear the cardstock if I continued to pull it. The only other time that's happened is with score tape, which is really strong, so I would put this right up there with my score tape. So I love it. And the bit of good news is that I can extend you a coupon code to shop on the TapeRunner website directly, and you can get 20% off with my coupon code. It's available all the time. The code and the link to shop are both in the description box below. And in fact, because this is going to be basically a staple of mine, I will list it in all my videos among my, there's an adhesive section. So in my description box, if you've never taken a peek in there, I have a set of standard things I like to list. And those are the things that I use a lot, or the things that I get asked about a lot. So I like to just have those links available for you in all of my videos, and this is going to be one of those things along with the coupon code. So because that code is going to be good all the time, I'm going to leave that in there so that whenever you need to pick up some adhesive and you need to restock, then just open any of my videos, expand the description box, and you'll see the link to shop and the coupon code. So all of that's in there for you. Now, I've got some other goodies and new things that I want to share with you. So I want to share this, and later I'll share a sneaky peek of another upcoming Easy Postage printable, but this is my newest one. It was spur of the moment. Actually, I was in the live chat watching the Not Too Shabby Gingy Time release live stream video with Jamie, and somebody asked me in the live chat if I was going to put out a gingerbread themed printable, and I hadn't thought about doing that. And so afterwards I decided, yeah, let's do it. So that is what I've done. So here's, if you're not familiar with my printables, firstly, if you're a channel member, check the posts, because all my channel members, doesn't matter what level you are, you can get this full collection, everything you see here, for free. So there'll be a code for you, and you can get that between now and the end of October. So that's available to you. Also, channel members, one of the perks that I kind of just added, and then I don't think I ever really told everybody about it, but you get a coupon code to shop my website all the time. So depending on what level you are, in terms of what channel member level you are, you have a coupon code that gets you anywhere from, I think, 20% off to 80% off. And I'm comfortable with giving you all steep discounts like that, because I really appreciate your support of my channel. And so I really want to kind of show that gratitude, especially since for a long time I haven't really had much to offer my channel members, but now that I have things in my shop, I hope that that's something that that I can give you that makes, having these little perks worth staying as a channel member. So big thank you to all of you. I try to put out these printables pretty regularly. I've been putting out at least one a month, but really it's often been 2 or 3 a month, and this one I just slipped in as an extra. So for folks who aren't familiar, Easy Postage printables, this top one I call the Easy Guide, and it's designed to actually be cut by my Easy Wonder die number 3. And if you're not familiar with that one, that's the Postage themed one. And the idea behind this section here is that you can easily cut it out. Down here is your postage grid. And then these images are very specifically lined up where they are, so that when you cut it out with the die, you can see here, this section will line up here, these line up here, and then these 3 will line up here. Well, these are very specifically sized and shaped so that you can layer them right back onto your postage grid once you cut it out. So that way you can have one pass and get your focal images and everything for making a quick card. On the Easy Guide version, I've also given you some additional options for layering into your postage grid. Now, these ones on the side here are actually scaled and they're clipped also, and it's really specific to the add-on die set for Easy Wonder die number 3. And so if you have the add-on, then you can easily cut these out and then just layer it onto the grid here. And so these rectangular dies are the ones that you would use to die cut these. Now, what I've been doing lately, and I haven't talked about it much, but what I've been doing lately is there's 10 additional images on the side here. If it helps, I'll hold it this way. So there's 10 images. The postage grid has 5 grid locations. And so these 10 images, it's exactly 2 sets. And that way, let's say you prefer to have maybe a solid border, you could use this and die cut it from solid color cardstock and then layer these onto solid color cardstock if you want. So lots of different options to craft and create some different looks. But what I've done is given you 2 full sets, but not only have I given you 2 full sets, I've given you one set where the postage grid is landscape oriented, and I've given you another set where the postage grid is portrait oriented. So you can see here, These two are the same size, but the reason why one goes this way and the other one goes that way is to accommodate those different orientations. So that gives you a little bit some more freedom and flexibility in your crafting. Sometimes maybe you want to create a landscape oriented card. Sometimes you might need to create a portrait oriented card. Maybe it depends on your sentiment and which way, what fits better on your card. So that is the easy guide version, and whenever I put out a new collection, this version is always free. And I do that because if you have the Easy Wonder Die number 3, I want to continue to kind of give you some pretty images to craft with. And I want to see people using their Easy Wonder die and maybe having something really easy to die cut, and it's just a few things, just one sheet of paper, then that will encourage you to use the die more. And so this single PDF is always free for about a month. After a month, or whenever I can remember, but it will be a minimum of a month generally, or at least till the end of the month when I put it out, initially release it. So it'll be free. You can always just help yourself to that. And that's everybody. Everybody can get the easy guide version for free. But what I like to do is for folks who do not have the Easy Wonder die, or for folks who do, but they want some options, they want some, different ways to craft with these same images, what I've done is I generally create 2 at a minimum, sometimes more. These are what I call the extras. And what I've done is I took all 10 of these images, but you can see how this is a good example. This has been clipped quite a lot because it's going to get die cut, or it's designed anyhow to get die cut with that die right there. So it doesn't need to be that much larger than what I've clipped it down to. But look at how cool it is when you see the full image. And so what I've done with these extras, and the reason why I've made extras, is so that, one, you can get some different backgrounds to craft with. This is perfect because it's still large enough to cut with your Easy Wonder die if you want, but it also can be 2 card fronts if you want, at least for an A2 size card. But I am also able to give you 2 full sets of those same postage stamps. So the same designs that you see here in the easy guide, I've given it to you in full here. And it's also already separated so that technically these were the images that were designed to go in the portrait orientation. But because I've given you the full image, I mean, you can really die cut it however you want. So it's big enough. So for example, if you look at this, if you want to use it in the landscape orientation, there's probably enough image to die cut that in a different orientation if you want. You could die cut that with the square die if you want. So it just gives you more freedom and flexibility to craft with these images when you have the full image to work with and it's not clipped. But it's scaled the same so that if you want to use your die, you can, and it's going to fit really nicely onto the postage grid. So this one is, this collection is called Gingy, Sugar, and Spice, and it was recommended or really suggested to me in that live stream chat. Laura Lee is the person who I think first asked about it, but there were several other folks who were also saying that they would be interested. So big thank you to you all for suggesting it. And if you go to purchase any of my easy postage printables, on the product listing page, there's even a link for suggesting other themes that you might like to see. So you can always put your suggestions there. And if I pick your suggestion to create, then I will send you, the full collection for free as a thank you. Now, sometimes I do have quite a few ideas and a long list that I had already created before I even put out the first one. So I'm still working through that list, and it might so happen that it's something that you might have suggested, but that's just because great minds think alike sometimes. But when I'm out of ideas, I'm going to be going to that list first. So do keep throwing your suggestions in, and I've got themes planned out for the rest of this year, but in 2026 I'm going to be diving into that list of suggestions and picking some out every now and then. So stay tuned. I'll give you a sneaky peek of the next easy postage printable that will release in November. But what I want to do is one last thing. So I want to share this with you. Okay, so folks might know that I now have a Sizzix Big Shot, and when I found out I was getting it, there were a few things that I really wanted to buy. The first I wanted to try was Stacey Park's dimensional diffuser system. I did a video on that already, and so if you want to check out my first look video, then you can do that. Let me know what your thoughts are. I compared it to the Tim Holtz embossing diffuser. The other thing that I wanted to try was the circular cutting pads that Sizzix puts out. Now, it was out of stock for a very long time. And so I started to it was out of stock on the Sizzix website. And so I went to Amazon because a lot of times Sizzix products are sold by Sizzix on Amazon. And maybe sometimes it's sold by other retailers or sellers as well. But as I was searching for circular cutting pads, I found a generic brand of circular cutting pads, and this is my first time opening it and checking it out. Okay, so it's a little bit rough and ready. It's not smooth, like the edges are really rough, but I can peel this off. Like, it's not sanded at all. You can kind of see how rough that is. Now, this is even chipped, it seems. I mean, I think it's not worth being precious about this, because the whole idea is you're meant to cut into this as a cutting pad. And what Sizzix says about theirs. Now, I want to tell you, this is not from Sizzix. This is a generic brand. I'll also link to it if anybody's interested. I found it on Amazon, and I want to try it out because I couldn't get the Sizzix ones. It might be back in stock now, but when I was shopping, it wasn't. So it's interesting that they have the protective, little plastic on one side. But here's the idea behind this. So it's beveled. This is a rough bevel. It's not smooth to the touch at all. And the idea is that this would replace one of your cutting plate, the plate that you're cutting into, I suppose. And so if you have your clean, your nice clean plate, which there's so much pressure on the Big Shot, that even though I haven't cut into this plate, you can see that some of the dies have made an impression on it. But the sandwich that you normally have for die cutting is this. You have your platform, you have your thin die adapter, and then if you're cutting like a what they call a framelit die, you would cut face down like this and then put your paper, your die, and then a clean plate on top. That would be your sandwich. Now, with this, sometimes if you've got like a thinlit die, something a little bit more detailed, you would put your clean plate first, your die with the cut edge up, then some paper, and then you're going to be cutting into your scratched up plate. But the idea with these circular plates is that instead of this plate, you would use this, and it's more concentrated because it's less plastic. So think about it this way. If the roller on your machine is like this, right? And then when you're cranking, you're gonna go across like that. So if I have this, the roller is exerting pressure along this entire stretch here, so along all of that. But look at where my die is. It's only here, but there's pressure being exerted here, there's pressure being exerted there, and so it's all spread out. And that means that if it's the same amount of pressure that gets exerted, but it's all spread out, that means there's going to be less pressure specifically over the die itself, as compared to, let's say we put this here now, and that's just big enough to cover my die. So now look what happens when you slide this or crank this through. All of that pressure is now concentrated just here, because that's the only thing that's going to be thick enough to hit the rollers. And so you have all of that pressure really concentrated in this small area and really just where your die is. And so for intricate cuts, that actually might help a lot more to get a clean cut. And this is nice and beveled so that as it's going through the machine, it kind of eases, the rollers up and onto the plastic here. And this is meant to be a consumable, which is why, this set had so many. So if you buy it from Sizzix, you get one of each size. But I got an 8-pack. Y'all, I'm gonna be set for cutting pads for life, so I'm kind of really happy about that. If it does the job, I kind of feel like, because I think it was for all 8, I can't remember what the price was. I don't want to say something and be wrong, but I'll leave the listing. Here's the thing, sometimes things on Amazon, like, it's there one day, gone the next. So I can't guarantee that it's going to be there forever, but I'm going to try it out, and then I'll report back. I'll let you know how I'm liking it so far. I do want to give you a little bit of an update. Since I did my unboxing and first look video of the new Sizzix Big Shot, I've been using it exclusively. It's been very hard to not use an electronic die cutting machine, but I've done that for the sake of all of you and for the sake of being able to really put this through its paces so that I can form like a more well-informed decision based off of actual use. And I think it's only fair to really use it as my only machine. And I have to say, I like it a lot. It's here, let me show you. So it looks like this. And it's really funny because I feel like Sizzix, I think they are okay, don't hate me, Sizzix, if you watch this video. But I feel like they are not doing a really good job of really talking about the things that make this machine great. It's weird that they say quite a lot that the machine is basically the same, um, which is a weird thing to say because then it's kind of like, okay, well then if you have a previous big shot, then there's no need to get this, because if the pressure and the inner workings are all the same, then what's the big deal? Well, I have to tell you, and I'll be honest, I don't have the previous big shot, but I know what it looks like. I know what Sizzix has said about the differences and the updates with this new one. And I really do feel like I think they've even explicitly said that that the changes are really just cosmetic, and I think they're wrong when they say that, because the changes that they've made are not, quote, just cosmetic. They've made usability improvements to this machine, and I don't think that's something to just write off as cosmetic. I would class, like, something that's purely cosmetic would be, oh, it's a different color. That's a cosmetic change. They've made updates to this machine that I feel go beyond just cosmetics, but they've improved the form factor of it. And as such, they've improved the usability of it. So for example, this is such a big thing that, well, I don't know. You might think it's a small thing. I think it's a big thing because this surface being flat is really nice for just putting your plates on top of. That seems really so simple and kind of silly almost, but I do this all the time with my Empress Mini. I do it with my Gemini. My plates are always right on top of the machine. And that's really nice because then I know where they are. they're not going to be like under some, some paper, some cardstock or whatever. But not only that, it's really helpful, like if you don't need a particular shim, because like you would really only need this when you're die cutting. So if you're doing some embossing, putting it somewhere that you can just have it out of the way is really nice, and then you can kind of do what you need to do. It's also nice just to have a little bit of extra space to put stuff. Especially if you're in a small area. If this was rounded like the earlier big shot models were, like you can't use the vertical height essentially. You can't stack things on top of this and, have it just be another place where you can set something. I think that makes a difference, to be quite honest, because if I couldn't put this here, I'd have to find some other place to put it. So this is a big usability improvement in my mind. It's not just a cosmetic, update to it. Yes, it does look different, but there's a function, there's a purpose. I mean, they might not have designed that as the purpose of doing this. They might have just thought, oh, this just looks cooler. But I feel like that's a usability improvement. The other thing that I've noticed, and now this I cannot compare to previous models, but this is like so quiet. When you die cut it, it's really effortless. You get a lot of pressure. I mentioned it earlier, but I have only been cutting into this plate, but this plate is getting impressions because of how much pressure, like even putting cutting the cutting edge face down and then putting this on top, the outer, even though it doesn't have that cutting edge, there's still enough pressure sometimes that it's left like a little bit of an outline, a little bit of an impression on my top plate. That's how much pressure has gone, is able to go through this. And it's really effortless to crank through as well. I have found that sometimes I'm just like rolling it through and it feels like nothing is happening, and then it'll come out the other end and it will be so perfectly cut, just one pass through, even though it felt like nothing was happening. So I think that's pretty big. It just goes to speak to how much die cutting pressure there is with this. And I like the fact that I didn't think I would, but I kind of like the fact that it is open like this. If you can find the space to dedicate to this, the fact that this platform is always open, one of the nice things about it being not one that you can fold up, not one that has like storage compartments, because I've seen other machines where like the platform, the sort of the bed of the machine, it's basically hollow, and it's great because they've designed it that way so that you have some storage space in there, but that makes the whole machine like a little bit lighter. And this machine is like hefty, it's stable, and so most of the time I can actually just run this through with one hand. I don't have to be holding it still, and it'll die cut just fine. I won't have to like hold it, to keep it stable. There aren't suction cups at the bottom, but there are like silicone pads, I think, at the bottom, just to help it to not slide around. And it does just fine, just with just that alone. It's heavy enough, it's stable enough, and it's sturdy so that you don't have to like worry about really trying to hold it still. And so I really like that about this machine. That's if you can find, the space, the dedicated space to always, have it available. And I also have to say, I'll just bring this up here one last time. I have to say that I kind of like, you get a little bit of, I wouldn't say it's storage, but, when I'm not die cutting, I still have space to set things on. So this is right next to my filming area here, and so if I have like any loose things or like some glue or an ink pad or whatever, I can set it on here, I can set it up here. So even though it does take up space and you kind of have to reserve some space for it, it's still very usable, the space that it does take up. And especially with this flat area here, it's really nice to be able to set things on top of it, especially the cutting plates. I often do that. And so that's that's another thing that I don't really mind too much, that it is large like that. Okay, so that's my update. I'm gonna probably do another dedicated video on to update it, because I still want to use it some more. I still need to test it with the Glimmer and with the Better Press. So I saw somebody left a comment requesting that I do that, and that's definitely in the plans, in the works. So I want to make sure that I have tried all the things before giving you my concluding thoughts. And then I teased a moment ago the giving you a sneaky peek at my next Easy Postage printable that's coming out in November. So I'm kind of excited for this one. This is I'm calling it Steampunk Gears, which means I might do another steampunk themed one. I just have so many beautiful images. It was really hard to choose between them. So this is the Easy Guide version. So this up here has been designed to be cut by Easy Wonder die number 3. You get your 10 additional images, 2 sets of 5 to fill your postage grid, and 1 set will be landscape, 1 set will be portrait. So you can see that can work, in either direction. And then, of course, still having the extras, taking all of these 10 and then splitting them in 2 so that you get 1 set here and you get an extra background to play with. And look at how pretty that is. And these images are just so gorgeous. So I'm not an illustrator. I didn't draw these. Like a lot of people, I find beautiful art on Creative Fabrica, and I have a commercial license to use it, and so then I just adapt the images, color shift them a little bit, format, clip them down to fit my template here, and then make them available to you as printables. So I'm really excited for this collection. It's got some really fun steampunky images. I like this little cat one is darling. There's a fairy there. So really, really, really fun collection. And I like the mix of like the soft nature with the hard gears and steampunk industrial kind of rusty old look. So it's a really nice kind of blend of styles. So really, really love it. I can't wait to put this in the shop so that you can get it. Look for it November. Now with my easy postage printables, I don't always do like a new release video for it. They just hit the shop sometimes a little bit, on the down low. But come back, check my website often. I try to release on the 15th of the month, and then if I know that I'm gonna have some extra printables, then I'll release them on the 5th or the 25th. So days ending in 5, the 5th, 15th, 25th. Those are the days to kind of swing by, see if there's anything new that hits the shop, and make sure that you're coming often, because the Easy Guide will be available when it first releases. But once the month rolls over and we're into a new month, then the price goes back to regular price. And I also discount the full bundle in that first month as well. So if you pick up the full bundle, then you're able to get it at a discount. But again, that only lasts during the month that it was originally released. So I do that so that, if you are a fan of these and you want to collect them and just have them to craft with, that you can always get them for either free or discounted. And all you have to do is just come back to my website regularly, and you can help yourself to the free one. So the other thing I try to do, and I'll try to be better at this, is I do have a Facebook community group for Easy Wonder in general. So if you're not already part of that group, I would encourage you to join me there, because then you're going to see so many people post their amazing projects when they craft with my printables, when they craft with any of the Easy Wonder dies. And so it's really nice to see what everybody does. And that's one of the things that's very fulfilling as a creator putting out product for other people to use. It's really lovely to get to see what you do with these designs, and to see how you like to use them. So I'm really, really excited to see how people use these, because I feel like they would be really good for junk journaling as well, which I often like to think of has that sort of antique-y, shabby chic kind of feel. And I think steampunk really blends right into that really easily. So that's coming up, and I think that's it for me. Lots of little updates. I just wanted to pop in and give you the scoop on all the things. Thanks so much for joining me for this one, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fabulous day. Bye.